The Hmong Ghost Beneath the House. A terrifying Hmong mountain folktale. There was once a Hmong family who lived deep in the mountains, far beyond the last village, where the roads disappeared and the forest seemed to stretch forever. Their home was a small wooden cabin built on a lonely hillside. The cabin stood between enormous trees, surrounded by thick vines, bamboo, and wild grass. During the day, the place could almost look beautiful. Sunlight passed through the leaves, birds sang above the roof. A small stream ran through the forest nearby. And from the hillside, the family could see mountains covered in green trees as far as their eyes could reach. But at night, the forest became a completely different place. The wind moved through the trees like whispers. Branches scratched against the wooden walls. Sometimes strange sounds came from the darkness. And there were nights when the family could hear footsteps outside the cabin, even though nobody was there. The family consisted of 5 people. The father was named Tua. His wife was named Mai. They had 3 children. Their oldest son, Neng, was 15 years old. Their daughter Paj was 12, and their youngest son, Leah, was only 6. They had lived together in the mountains for many years. They were poor, but they loved one another. Every morning before the sun appeared, Toa would wake his children. "Wake up. We have work to do," the children would complain. "Just 5 more minutes." Toa would laugh. "If you sleep too long, the sun will finish your work before you do." Then everyone would leave the cabin. Toa and Mai worked in the rice fields. Neng helped his father carry heavy tools. Paj helped her mother collect vegetables. And little Leah followed everyone around, carrying a small basket that was usually much too big for him. Whenever they returned home in the evening, Toa would sit outside the cabin and sharpen his farming knife. Leah would sit beside him. "Father, what? Are you afraid of the forest?" Toa would smile. "Why would I be afraid? Because people say spirits live here." Tua would laugh. "Spirits? Yes. Where?" "In the trees." Toa would look around dramatically. "Maybe they are afraid of me." Leah would laugh. His father would put an arm around him. "Listen to me. The forest can be dangerous, but fear makes people make mistakes. If you respect the forest, you will be safe." Those words stayed with Leah, but nobody knew. One day the forest would become the place where his father died, and later, the place where his father would return. Chapter 1. The Sickness. It happened during the rainy season. For several days, Toa had complained that his body felt weak. At first, Mai thought he was simply exhausted. "You have been working too hard. I am fine. You should rest. I will rest tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. One morning, Tua tried to stand. His legs suddenly gave out. He fell against the wall. Neng rushed toward him. "Father!" Toa tried to smile. "I'm fine." But Neng could see that he wasn't. His father's face had become pale. His eyes looked tired. His breathing was heavier than usual. Mai immediately made him herbal medicine. She searched for roots and leaves deep in the forest. She boiled them in a clay pot. But the medicine did nothing. Tua's fever became worse. For several days, he stayed in bed. The children became frightened. Leah would sit beside his father and hold his hand. "Father." Tua opened his eyes. "What is it? Are you going to die?" Mai immediately turned around. "Leah!" But Toa didn't become angry. Instead, he smiled. "Everyone dies someday." Leah began crying. "But I don't want you to." Toa reached out and touched his son's head. "Don't cry. I will always protect you." Those words would later become a nightmare. As the days passed, Toa became weaker. One night the rain was so heavy that the entire cabin shook. Water leaked through the roof. Thunder rolled over the mountains. Tawa suddenly asked Mai to bring the children closer. Neng. Yes, father? Paj. Yes? Leah. The youngest boy crawled closer. Tua looked at all three, then he looked at Mai. His voice was barely a whisper. If I die? Mai shook her head. Don't say that. But Tawa continued. Listen. If I die, bury me beneath this house. He slowly raised one trembling hand. He pointed toward the center of the cabin. Right there. Everyone stared at the floor. Mai looked frightened. Why? Tua answered quietly. I want to stay close to my family. I want to protect you. If I am buried beneath this house, I will always be with you. Neng looked at his father. Father, will you really stay with us? Tua smiled. Yes. As long as you remember me, I will never be far away. The thunder outside became louder. Tua closed his eyes. Nobody knew that those would be his final words. The next morning, Tawa was dead. Mai cried beside him. The children cried. Neng tried to remain strong. Paj couldn't stop shaking. And little Leah refused to let go of his father's hand. Father, wake up. Please wake up. But Tawa never opened his eyes again. Chapter 2. The grave beneath the floor. The family buried Tawa in the center of the cabin. Mai did exactly what he had asked. She believed that perhaps his spirit would remain close to them. Perhaps he really would protect them. After the burial, the cabin felt strangely empty. The children no longer heard their father's voice. No footsteps outside. No laughter. No sound of his knife being sharpened. Only silence. That evening, Mai cooked dinner. She prepared rice. She placed the food on the table. Then she stopped. There was an empty place. The place where Tawa had always sat. Mai stared at it. Paj noticed. Mom? Mai wiped her eyes. I'm okay. Everyone sat down. They began eating. But after a few minutes, Mai looked toward the center of the cabin. She remembered what Tawa had said. I want to stay close to my family. She whispered, Tawa. Nobody answered. Mai smiled sadly. Come eat with us. Neng looked at her. Mom, she continued, your dinner is waiting. Then something knocked beneath the floor. Knock! Everyone froze. Paj dropped her spoon. Knock! Knock! The sound came again. Leah whispered, Mom. Mai stared at the floor. Then came a voice, very quiet, very weak. I am hungry. Mai's face became completely white. She knew that voice. It was Tua, her husband, the father of her children. But the voice was coming from beneath the ground. I am hungry. Leah began crying. Neng stood up. Mom, we have to leave. Before anyone could move, the ground cracked. The soil in the center of the cabin began to move. Something pushed upward. A hand emerged. Then another. The children screamed. Mai pulled them backward. A body slowly climbed out of the grave. It was Tawa, but not the Tawa they remembered. His skin was blue and grey. His lips were dark. His eyes were cloudy. Blood covered his face. His clothes were torn, and from the wounds on his body, small pale worms crawled slowly across his skin. He stood in the center of the cabin, his head tilted to one side. Then he looked at Mai. You called me. Mai couldn't speak. The dead man smiled. You invited me to dinner. His eyes moved toward the table. Where is my food? Chapter 3. The first night. The family sat frozen. Tawa walked toward the table. His feet made a strange dragging sound. Scrape, scrape, scrape. He picked up a bowl of rice. His fingers were covered in dirt. He stared at it. Then he whispered, This isn't enough. Mai stepped backward. Toi. The dead man looked at her. Why are you afraid of me? His voice sounded almost normal. For one moment, Mai saw the husband she knew. Then his face changed. His mouth opened too wide. His eyes became black, and he whispered, "I am still your husband." Mai screamed. The children ran. Neng pulled Paj toward the door, but the ghost suddenly turned toward them. "Where are you going?" The children froze. Tua smiled. "You are my children. You should stay with your father." The mother screamed, "Run!" The children escaped into the darkness. The ghost followed, but strangely, it stopped at the doorway. It stared into the forest. Then it slowly returned to the cabin, as if something was preventing it from leaving. That night, nobody slept. The following day, Mai began to realize something. During daylight, the ghost was gone. The grave remained closed. Everything appeared normal, but at sunset, the sounds returned. Knock, knock, knock. And Toa climbed out again. Every night, he became more aggressive. Every night, he searched for his children. "Where are my children? Where are they? Come to father." The family hid whenever they heard his voice. But eventually, the ghost found the youngest child. Chapter 4. The Youngest Son. It happened on the fourth night. Leah was sleeping beside his mother. Paj was on the other side. Neng was near the door. The mother had barely closed her eyes when she heard something. Scrape, scrape, scrape. She opened her eyes. Tua was standing inside the cabin. He looked directly at Leah. "Leah!" The boy woke up. "Father!" Mai immediately grabbed him. "Don't answer." But it was too late. Toa smiled. "You called me." The boy began crying. "Mom!" The ghost reached out. Mai tried to pull her son away, but Toa grabbed the boy. "Father missed you. Let me go." Mai screamed. "Take me instead." The ghost stared at her. Then it smiled. "No. I want my son." It carried Leah toward the darkness. Mai followed. "Leah!" The boy screamed. "Mom!" His voice became quieter. Then, nothing. The mother fell to the ground. She knew her son was gone. And at that moment, she understood. The thing beneath the cabin was no longer protecting them. It was hunting them. Chapter 5. The Hiding Place. Before sunrise, Mai made a plan. She took Neng and Paj to a high wooden platform near the roof. It was used for storing rice and farming tools. She helped them climb up. Then she whispered, "You must stay here." Paj was crying. "Where are you going?" "I'm going to the village. I'm bringing our relatives. I will come back." Neng asked, "What if father comes?" Mai looked directly into his eyes. "Listen carefully. If you hear his voice, do not answer. If you hear him calling your name, do not answer. If you hear me, do not answer either." Neng looked confused. "Even if it's you, even if it sounds exactly like me, do not answer." She kissed them. Then she whispered, "Stay silent, no matter what happens. Do not move. Do not cry. Do not come down." Then she left. That night, Tua returned. He searched the cabin. "Children, where are you?" He walked beneath the platform. He stopped. He looked upward. "I know you're here." The children held their breath. Tua smiled. "Your mother told you to hide, didn't she?" Silence. "I can hear you breathing." The children were terrified. The ghost stood beneath them for hours. Then, it began climbing. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. The wooden ladder creaked. The ghost was almost there. Suddenly, a branch outside broke. The ghost stopped. It looked toward the door. Then it slowly climbed back down. The children remained silent until sunrise. Chapter 6. 3 days. The first day passed. The children had almost no food. The second day passed. They became weak. The third day, they were barely able to move. Below them, the ghost continued to appear every night. During the day, it lay motionless in the grave. At night, it searched. The children learned something terrifying. The ghost could imitate voices. Sometimes they heard their mother. "Come down." Sometimes they heard their brother Leah. "Help me." Sometimes they heard Neng's voice. "Father is gone." But none of those voices were real. They were traps. The children never answered. On the third afternoon, their mother finally returned. She had brought several relatives. An old man who knew the forest came with them. He looked at the cabin. Then he said, "We must finish this tonight." Chapter 7. The Trap. The relatives dug a deep pit several yards from the cabin. They placed sharpened bamboo stakes at the bottom. Then they covered the pit with branches and dirt. It looked exactly like normal ground. The old man told the children the plan. "When the ghost comes, you must run. Do not stop. Do not look back. Run directly toward us." The children nodded. The mother hugged them. "I'm sorry." The daughter cried, "You didn't do anything wrong." The mother held her tightly. "Tonight, we go home." The sun disappeared. Darkness covered the mountains. The forest became silent. Then, knock, knock, knock. The grave opened. Tua rose from beneath the cabin. His face was blue. His body was covered in blood. His mouth was filled with dark stains. He looked around. Then he smiled. "I can smell you." The children froze. The ghost walked toward the platform. "Come down. Father wants to see you." The mother waited outside. She knew what would happen next. The ghost climbed. 1 step, 2, 3. Then suddenly, the children jumped down. "Run!" They sprinted toward the forest. The ghost screamed, "Come back!" It chased them. The children ran faster. Branches hit their faces. Their feet slipped in the dirt. Behind them, the ghost was getting closer. "Stop! You are my children!" The children could see the trap. The boy shouted, "Jump!" They both leaped. The ghost followed. Crack! The ground collapsed. The ghost fell into the pit. Its body struck the sharpened bamboo below. It screamed. The relatives rushed forward. The ghost tried to climb. Its fingers grabbed the edge. "Help me!" The mother froze for one terrible moment. She heard her husband's real voice. "Tua!" She almost stepped forward. Then the old man shouted, "Do not listen. That is not your husband." The mother stepped backward. The relatives pushed stones into the pit. The ghost screamed again. "Mai! Help me! Please!" The mother covered her ears. "No, you are not him." More stones fell, more dirt. The ghost disappeared beneath the earth. The old man ordered everyone to continue. "Cover it. Do not leave any opening." They buried the pit completely. Then they placed huge rocks over it. Nobody spoke. The forest became silent. Chapter 8. Leaving the mountain before sunrise, the family left the cabin forever. Mai looked back one final time. The wooden cabin stood alone beneath the trees. She remembered their happy days, her husband laughing, her children playing, her youngest son running around the house. Then she turned away. She never returned. The family went back to the village. Years passed. The children grew older. But nobody forgot what happened. The daughter became a mother herself. The son became a farmer. And Mai grew old, but she always gave her children the same warning. Never call the dead. Never invite them home. Never answer a voice that comes from beneath the floor. Her children never understood why. Until one night. Chapter 9. The Dream. Many years after the tragedy, Paj, now a grown woman, had a strange dream. She was standing inside the old cabin. The cabin looked exactly as it had when she was a child. Her father stood in the center. His face was blue. His clothes were covered in dirt. His eyes were black. He looked at her. "Come here." Paj couldn't move. "Father." He smiled. "I am hungry." She stepped backward. "You are dead." The ghost laughed. "Dead? I promised I would protect you." Then he pointed toward the floor. "You buried me beneath your home." You called me to dinner. You invited me back." Padge woke up screaming. She looked around her bedroom. Everything was dark. She tried to calm herself. It was only a dream. Then knock, knock, knock. 3 knocks came from beneath her floor. She froze. Then she heard a familiar voice. "Padge!" Her father's voice. "Come eat with me." She covered her mouth. The voice continued. "I have been waiting." Knock, knock, knock. She did not answer. The knocking continued for several minutes. Then suddenly, silence. Padge stayed awake until morning. She never told anyone what happened. But from that night onward, she always slept with the lights on. Epilogue: the cabin in the forest. The old cabin eventually disappeared. Trees grew through the walls. The roof collapsed. The path became covered with leaves, but the story never disappeared. People still avoided that part of the mountain. Some hunters said they heard a man walking behind them. Some travelers claimed they saw a blue-faced figure standing between the trees. Others said they heard children crying. And some said, if you stand near the old cabin after midnight, you can hear a family eating dinner. You can hear bowls moving. You can hear someone laughing. And then you may hear a man's voice say, "Come eat." If you hear that voice, do not answer. Do not say your name. Do not say the name of anyone who has died. And whatever you do not say, "Come home," because the people of the mountains believe that some spirits do not understand that they are dead. They continue searching for their families. They continue waiting for dinner. They continue looking for their children, and sometimes they find them. So if you ever travel deep into the mountains of Southeast Asia, and you see an abandoned wooden cabin surrounded by trees, do not enter, especially after sunset, because you never know who might be waiting inside. And if you hear 3 knocks beneath the floor, knock, 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 do not look down. If you hear a familiar voice whisper, "Child," do not answer. And if you hear footsteps behind you, slowly approaching, thud, 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 do not turn around, because if you turn and see a blue face covered in blood, with dark eyes staring directly into yours, the spirit will know that you can see it. And once it knows you can see it, it may follow you home. Just like the father in this story, who never stopped searching for his children, even after death, even after being buried, even after being trapped beneath the earth, because perhaps the most frightening thing about death is not that the dead can return. It is that sometimes they return because they believe you still belong to them. The end.